each time she met one criterion, they would suddenly switch and say, no, you didn't meet this criterion. And it became impossible for Margot to meet the criteria of tenure because the target, as it were, kept shifting. That, to me, is clear evidence of bad faith on the part of Ithaca College. In addition, there were a large number of what you would call, I suppose, professional improprieties, which Margot again reviewed in the course of her presentation, which does raise serious questions about the professionalism of the people in the department. This is not a matter of being overly politically correct or being prudish or old-fashioned. Margot, after all, is a married woman. She's a mother of two sons, if my memory is correct, or two sons and a daughter, I can't now recall.
One son and one daughter.
You know, she's a married woman and a mother of several children. And she's also in a vulnerable position as a third world woman. And there were certainly carryings on in the department which were wholly inappropriate. And it's certainly the nature of departmental life that there's a kind of seepage between the petty and the professional. So, if you're not responding to petty kinds of harassment, then it's then taken out in professional ways like denial of tenure. And there seems to be, at least in my opinion, enough clear evidence of such improprieties that it warrants a serious scrutiny and investigation and a calling to account, if by nobody else than by the students. It's simply, to put it bluntly, what was done to her was wrong. And it was gross, and it was vulgar, and it was improper. So, on all of those grounds, I think Margot has a compelling case. And as I said a moment ago, it warrants the intervention certainly of the department, certainly of the administration, and if they fall short in their responsibilities, then it warrants the intervention of the students at Ithaca College. And then that just brings me to the second half of what I should be talking about, namely, what should the students do? And in my opinion, first of all, students are in general wise and clever enough on their own to figure out what to do. And certainly they're better placed than I am, sitting in Brooklyn, New York, to tell students at Ithaca College what to do. The only point I would want to make is the following, which was alluded to by Joel in his remarks. Namely, these battles can be won. You can't say with certainty in each individual case, victory is guaranteed. But the battles can be won. The Joseph Mossad case at Columbia University, where Campus Watch carried on a quite vicious campaign to deny him tenure, in the end proved unsuccessful. And it was recent, within the last week, that in fact Mossad did get tenure at Columbia. On a smaller scale, there have been efforts, for example, to deny me the right to speak as a lecturer on campus. The most recent case was this past week at Clark University in Worcester, Massachusetts, in a quite formidable array of students, civil liberty organizations, and also newspaper columnists entered the fray. And it seems, as I'm speaking now, it seems that the president, John Bassett, was forced to reverse himself. He said I wouldn't be allowed to come to Clark this year. And now he said I'm welcome to come if the students can arrange it. Now, of course, Bassett did not want to reverse his decision, but as Joel said, universities like to pretend they're bastions of free speech, and there's nothing they dread more than the public exposure that they're capitulating to factions on campus because they're afraid of losing alumni money or material things like that. And so Bassett came under tremendous pressure because of the egregious hypocrisy of what he was saying, that I shouldn't be allowed on a college campus to speak because I'm controversial. And what was even more really grotesque was the claim that I shouldn't be allowed to speak on the college campus during Holocaust Remembrance Day. Now, number one, I was not invited to speak on the Nazi Holocaust. I was coming to speak on what happened in Gaza between December 27th and January 18th. But number two, even if I were being invited to speak on the Nazi Holocaust, I have, after all, written 2 books on the subject, one of which was named a notable book of the year by the New York Times Book Review, the other one of which has been translated into 27 languages and received a blurb from the world's leading authority in the Nazi Holocaust. And personally, my family passed through the Warsaw Ghetto, the concentration camps, and every single member of my family on both sides, except for my late mother and late father, were exterminated during the war. And so the idea that I shouldn't be allowed to speak on the Nazi Holocaust because I may offend the sensibilities of some suburban Jews who have as much connection with the Nazi Holocaust as I do with the man on the moon, or woman on the moon, was really an outrage. And Bassett, the president, as I said, seems to have retreated. And I think even though it's late in the day, it's April 16th, I still think if students can quickly get their act together and make it clear to the president of Ithaca that it's going to be a very embarrassing graduation day this year if this decision is not revisited. I still think, even at this late hour, there's reason to hope